Okay, well, today we're going to do Unit 3, Notes number 5, which is classification of functions. So it kind of goes hand in hand with graphing with our input and output tables. But today we're going to classify how to classify them as linear, quadratic, and exponential, both from a graph, table, and just from just the equation. So first, if you are classifying linear is just going to have an exponent of 1. So you're just going to have an x all by itself. Quadratic is going to have an exponent of 2. So x squared, and then exponential, your x is going to be your exponent. So linear is a straight line. Quadratic is the U shape, and remember this could be an upside down U, and that is okay. And then exponential is an L shape, or kind of like just like a small curve. Then from your table, you always want to look at your y values or your f of x values for the pattern. This one, it goes -3, -1, 1, 3, and 5. So if it's constantly going up, it either has to be linear or quadratic. So with linear, you're going to have a constant. Your value is always going to be going up by the same. So those are all the same. So it is linear. Quadratic, you're going to have, you have 8, 2, 0, 2, 8. So you go down, and then you go back up. Another way to look at this is what we call a double difference. So this goes down 4, down 2, up 2, up 4. So that's the first difference. And the second difference, it should be the same. So this was -2, no, not -2, +2, +2, +2. So this second round of differences should be the same if it's quadratic. But normally you should be able to see the pattern. And lastly, for exponential, you're going to look at your f of x again. These values we can see are all going up, but they're not going up by the same amount. With exponential, you're always multiplying. So we're multiplying by 2 each time to get to the next number. Now, you don't have to write what is happening. You should be able to just see the difference, but sometimes we have to write it out just to clarify. Okay, so we need to classify these as linear, quadratic, or exponential. This one has a U shape, so it is quadratic. This one is a straight line, so it is linear. This one has the L shape, and this one's going down, but it still has that L shape. So this is exponential. And the last one is a straight line. So it is linear. So those are 3 types of function. So the biggest thing is you will have to classify these in a graph and an equation, and then whenever we're graphing our input output tables, you'll have to actually now classify them. Next, we're going to do the equation. With y equals 2 of x. So this x is a 1. So this is linear. Next one, we have 4 to the x. Your x is an exponent. So this is exponential. Next one, your exponent is 2. So this is quadratic. Next one, you just have an x. This exponent has a 1, so this is linear. And then on the next one, this one's kind of tricky. Because you're like, but Ms. Gilbert, there's just an x. But if I do x times x, I'm going to get x squared. And that is what matters. So this one is actually quadratic. This is the one that's this is one of the ones that's kind of tricky. And then the last one, we have an x as an exponent, so this is exponential. Okay, let me know if you guys have any questions on those. Oh. Let's go to the back page. So now we're going to classify the table. So we want to look at this pattern on our y values. So this is +3, +6, and then +3. Like, Mrs. Gilbert, it's not going up by the same. But if you look at this, you go 2, 3, and then you skip 4 to go to 5 and 6. So that means if there was something right here, it would be the same. So this one is linear. This one, you go down 7, down 5, and then down 3. So this one is not a steady decrease. So let's look at if this one's down 2 and this one's, actually, +2, +2. So this one's the second round. So it's the quadratic. And again, most of the time quadratic, you can see the pattern in the y values. This one you can't. This one exponential, we're going down from 27 to 9 to 3 to 1. So we're going down a lot. So I want you to think, okay, 27 to 9 is down by 18. And then you go down by 6. Then you go down by 2. So those numbers are actually all common. We're actually multiplying by 1/3 each time. So we're dividing by 3. So this one is exponential. And then the last one, we go 3, 1, 3, 9. So if you guys see, we went to 1, and then we went back up. So this one would be quadratic. Okay, let me know if you guys have any questions on classifying. I feel like the hardest way with classifying is from our table. And you guys, you can always graph that table and see what the line looks like if that helps you. But the table will be the part of the hardest part. But normally with quadratic, you'll be able to see the pattern. And linear is a constant increase. Exponential, you are multiplying. Okay, so let's go down and graph these. Fill in our x's. Make sure you input your work. And then if you want to use the calculator, you can use the calculator. So I'm going to do it in Desmos. So 2 times 2 to the gear table. So I get 0.51248. Plot my points. 0, 1, 1, 2. Was it 1, 4, and 2, 8? And then graph my line. Man, I cannot hit all my points today. And there's your line, you guys. So this one is that L shape, so your classification would be exponential. Okay, let's go down to the other one. -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Plug it in. -2 times -2 squared minus 1. -2 times -1 squared minus 1. -2 times 0 squared minus 1. So this is the x is where I'm plugging in my value. Okay, and then I'm going to plug this one into Desmos. So -2x squared minus 1. I think that's right. Gear Oh, I did that wrong. There we go. Table, so I get -9, -3. -1, and then I go back down. So I'm going to graph these points. So -2, -9 is actually going to be off my graph just a little bit. -1, -3. 0, -1. 1, -3, and then 2, -9. So this is, we can see, is kind of our this is actually where, this is an upside down U, which is okay. So this classification would be quadratic. Okay, let me guys know if you guys have any questions. The last one says evaluate the function f of x equals -4x minus 5 when you have f of 2. So this 2 needs to get plugged in for x. -4 times 2 minus 5. You get -8 minus 5, which is going to give you a -13. That's a little bit of review for the day. Okay, let me know if you guys have any questions on this, and you guys can get started on your homework.